So what's going on with our changing landscape? I've come to Keyworth in Nottinghamshire. Here at the British Geological Survey, experts have been measuring landslides across the UK for nearly 30 years. And this year their graphs are telling them something odd is going on.
So for the last 12 months we've seen a really unusual year. If we go back to last summer, July 2012, we saw a fourfold increase. And then moving on to December, we saw a sixfold increase in events. Even this year in March, we saw again a fourfold increase on events when we looked at it compared to our average over the last 6 years.
So what's making this difference? Why are we seeing such huge changes?
You can see in the blue lines, it's partly to do with the rainfall. We've seen significant rainfall both in the summer and in the winter, and these certainly are, you can see, contributing to the landslide events we've seen.
So changing weather patterns don't just affect crops, they're shaping the ground under our feet. It was a wet year 47 years ago too.
A generation perished in Aberfan. In a few minutes, nearly 200 children, happy because they would begin a holiday that afternoon, were engulfed. And for them there was no holiday, no half-term.
1966 was the year Britain woke up to the dangers of landslides.
On the site of the landslide, the task of rescue operated with speed. It looked impossible, it looked hopeless. But these men are miners. Their children were buried in that mud.
Before Aberfan, it was no one's responsibility to monitor sites like these. The National Coal Board claimed no one could have predicted what happened. But it wasn't true. The inquiry heard there were plenty of warning signs and the NCB were to blame. It was a disaster that should never have happened.
The school lay in the direct path of the disintegrating man-made mountain.
After Aberfan, we began monitoring landslides, not just near coalfields, but across the country. So this year, when the spoil tip at Hatfield Colliery in South Yorkshire began to move, engineers acted quickly to close the line between Doncaster and Goole.
Steel tracks were left twisted and broken by an almost seismic shift of mud and earth.
Exactly what happened here is still being investigated, but heavy rainfall over the winter almost certainly played a part. The cost of closing, then repairing the line has run into tens of millions. Landslide damage to roads and rail doesn't just cost money. It disrupts people's lives, sometimes for years.
So this is showing the road, and it's progressing all the time, this.
Sean Rennick and his family had big plans when they bought Crag End Farm near Rothbury in Northumberland 2 years ago. Then on Boxing Day, the road running past their front door began to disappear. Helen and her landslide response team want to find out why.
What's the big inconvenience for you and your family here?
There are many problems. We can't get the kids to school that easily these days.
Oh gosh, yeah.
It's 6 miles round, but there's also we're renovating the farm to work on a sustainable basis. So we've got some woodland down there and we're cut off from that.
The road runs along a hill beside a river. There have been landslides here before, but never as bad as this.
This is the line of the road here in my feet. 6 months ago, the line of the road was up here.
The council's dug 24 boreholes to find out what's going on underground.
We've only just opened this up now, so we'll have to
Beautiful.
see.
One of the things that we're working towards is constructing landslide susceptibility maps, which help people know when they're planning future developments where landslides might happen. So the information that we collect on a site like this can help us refine our maps as to where landslides might occur in the future.
But predicting landslides isn't easy, particularly along Britain's crumbling coast. A member of the public has reported a cliff fall 40 miles away at Tynemouth. The team go to investigate armed with a gadget called a LiDAR scanner.
Instrument is sending out a pulse of laser light. So we then have a detailed three-dimensional model of the bay, and it is in its correct orientation on the map of Great Britain.
The hope is that all this new technology will allow the team to predict the future, linking geology and weather to produce a daily landslide forecast.